Okay, this is Unit 7, Lesson 7, titled More Than One. We have a warm-up question here that says, are these triangles identical? Take a moment and look at those triangles and decide whether you agree that yes, they are, no, they are not. Okay, the correct answer is no, they are not. Even though both triangles have the same measures, they are not identical because the side length of 12 is not in the same position. Okay, so take a moment and write that down, and then I can show you here. So here we have our 12, and that is this length, and it's next to the 95-degree angle. If we look over here on our 95-degree angle, this should be 12 units long, and it's not. It's this part that is, which is the longest side. So that is why visually it is not the same thing. Okay, even though both triangles have the same measures, they are not identical because the side length of 12 is not in the same position. Okay, in reference to the angles there. Okay, and the next question we have make a prediction. Sol made a triangle with these conditions: a side length of 7 units, a 35-degree angle, and a 50-degree angle. Roberto wants to make a triangle with the same measurements. Will Roberto's triangle be identical to Sol's? And we want you to think about that. Okay, you can write that down in your packet, and we will continue here to take a little bit further look on that question. Okay, so now we are given that length of 7 and 2 of our angles here, and we are told to create some triangles with the same measures as Sol's triangle. So if off of that 7 side length, I put one angle on one side and the other, I'm going to get this triangle. Okay, now I'm going to just reverse the sides to see what happens when I do that. Looks like I could take this and flip it. If I flip this over, it would look very similar. And now I'm going to do it where we don't have angle, side, angle, but I'm going to have an angle here, and then I'm going to make another angle along here. Okay, what if I took this angle and I went just out to here? Oh, it's not okay, it's got to be up to there. Okay. All right, so as you can see from our gallery, we do have this angle where we have the 2 angles off to the side and only one of the angles on the 7. Let's try the 35. And then the 50 off of here. Okay, and that looks very different as well. Here are the triangles that Sol and Roberto created. What could you say to help Roberto create a triangle that is identical to Sol's? So we kind of hinted at that earlier. Okay, I would tell Roberto, and this is what I want you to write now. I would tell Roberto that the 7 has to go in the middle between 35 and 50 degrees. Okay, in other words, if we're looking at the side here, we have 7 and then 50 and 35. I could also do the flip of that and do 35 and 50 off of that 7, and they're going to have to connect at the same spot. So the whole idea here is that we are doing side, angle, side in that order. Or, in this case, angle, side, angle. Okay, so you're going to get your angle, your side length, and then your angle in that order. Okay, create as many non-identical triangles as you can with these measurements. I'm going to start with the side and side here with the angle in the middle. And then I will do the reverse of that and see what happens. Okay, those look very similar. It's just if I took this and I flipped it, I would get that. You can kind of see there's a line of symmetry here that you can see that that's the same one. So now I'm going to take this angle and there we go. So now it's not in the same order. And what if I took this angle and then did this? How would that look? That would be the flip of that one. Okay, so you could make a different one, but you would just have to change the ordering. And that would be a good strategy to see that this 25-degree angle, if you have the 6 and the 4 coming off of it, or the 4 and the 6 coming off of it, you're going to get the flip. But if you do the angle and then the two sides, that's going to be very different than the side angle side here. Okay, Malik claims he will always get identical copies if the 25-degree angle is in between the side lengths of 4 and 6. Is that true? Okay, the answer is yes. And we just did that when we did the 4 and the 6 when we got that shape, or we did it the other way around. So, in explaining our thinking, is that as long as each side length connects with the 25 degrees in the middle, we will have identical triangles. Okay. In other words, the other one is just the upside down of that one. Okay, here we have making groups of identical copies where you would be connecting them. You can most certainly do this on your own. And then also talk about whether these are identical or not. And then you can explore more, which that'll be on your own. So feel free to do those extra questions for yourself. You are now working on your homework lesson practice number 7.